Good evening. Welcome to our August presentation. This is Starla DeMoss. Starla is a recent transplant to Edwardsburg. She moved here in 2022 after her daughter and her husband moved to Elkhart. And she likes it here. And she's had native plants as part of her becoming an outdoor woman workshop. So she's able to help us with the plant sale, which we love. So Starla is from Casper, Wyoming, but she grew up in Cheyenne, and that's where she graduated from high school, where she met her husband. And he was went into the Air Force, and they had 4 children, and they moved to Arizona. And after they were divorced, she moved back to Cheyenne and met her second husband, Ed DeMoss, who was also in the Air Force. And after he retired, they moved to Denver, Nebraska, where he was a refrigeration specialist with Tyler Refrigeration. And they remodeled a house, and Starla got into gardening, and she got into food preservation, and I'll bet that's about the time she got into the becoming a pioneer woman, an outdoors woman. And she's had classes in canoeing and native plants and something else besides Dutch oven cooking that you told me about. And so that was in the 1990s, and she just loves that sort of thing. And so she's going to talk to us tonight about how she does Dutch oven cooking and has shared some recipes with us. So I think it'll be quite an interesting time. Thanks, Starla. Go right ahead.
Thank everybody for coming. What a great crowd. A lot of smiling faces. Who knows about Dutch oven?
No, okay. No, I'll see you just.
5 or 6?
Oh, that's right.
Wow. You're going to learn something tonight, aren't you? I hope. I learned how to Dutch oven cooking at BOW camp, and this is what you get, and I went several times. Every state in the United States has BOW camp. It's becoming an outdoor woman. And you go for a 3-day weekend, and I think Michigan has 4 of them during the year. You can go online and get an application. If you're a first-timer, they will pay $150 towards your tuition. You go, and they cook all your meals, and I don't know about Michigan, but in Nebraska, we'll give you all a t-shirt, and they have silent auctions, and I took photography also, I took canoeing, archery, Dutch oven, and just so many things that they offer. I would like to get a group together and go to the winter one where you can snowmobile. Is anybody up to that? I'm not too much in skiing, but snowmobiling I could really run somebody over. But anyway, if anybody's, and this was our group that we had that year, and when I took Dutch oven cooking, our class was the last one. And there was 4 groups of us, and I was with 3 other ladies, had no idea who they were, but we got along perfect because we all liked the outdoors and doing stuff outside. So we made beef burgundy with wild rice in our Dutch ovens, and the other classes made something else, and we all got to eat it. Well, ours was the last class to make beef burgundy. There was a half a bottle of burgundy left. This one lady says, "We're drinking this." She poured 4 glasses and gave us each one with our dinner, and we ate it, or drank it. And that night they presented her because she was one of the sponsors of BOW camp. She was a prosecuting attorney from Lincoln, Nebraska. So you can be anybody and go to these. You know, she was just like us, and we had a good time. And I would like to continue that good times if anybody is interested. We're too late, I think, for the October one, but I hope they have one in December, because I'm packed.
I think they have them in the Upper Peninsula, is where they have them. I
Pardon?
went online today to look at that, and I think they're held in the Upper Peninsula.
Are they? Are they? Well, I would love to go again, because you have so much fun. And so that's where I learned. Now, that's enough about that. They also give you cookbooks. The recipes on here are in these cookbooks. And I apologize, I was going to make the peach crumble and the cake with caramel sauce, apple cake. But these pots have been sitting for about 10 years. And I was using them, and I was doing the peach cobbler and tasted it, and it was rancid, because they get that way after they sit a long time. So I need to, and my friend Jen here is going to help me clean these things up, so that when I have an open house in my garden, does everybody know about my garden?
No.
Oh, well, it's at Estes Park, and number 35, everybody's welcome to my garden. I had a lot of help. Neil gave me the rocks. And plants, and people brought me cardboard because I'm very environmental, so I put cardboard under all my mulch. And that's what it is. I don't have any grass, none. And I have an American flag because every male in my family has been on service, so every branch. So that's what it is. All right, on to cast iron cooking. Why cast iron? Why would anybody want to have this 20-pound lid haul it around, you know? Okay? For one thing, it's iron. And what does your body need? Iron. So when you cook food in these, you're going to get a little bit of iron, you know? If you cook them in a Teflon-coated pan, what happens after a while? You scrape the Teflon off, don't you? Where does it go? In your food. It is poisonous. So that's why you see so many of these scratched up pans in Goodwill. Nobody wants them anymore. So, and these, if you season them right, will not stick. And soap is your worst enemy for them, because it takes off the seasoning. Because when you buy a new one, or like me, I gotta season them all again. You wipe them out, then now you use Crisco, and then you bake them for at least an hour and a half. I like 2 hours, so that the Crisco gets down into the pores of the cast iron, and then it won't stick. But I use cast iron for everything, as for wherever you went. Oh, but how many use cast iron? Oh, quite a few. Do you like it? Yeah. You just wipe it out, you know? No scrubbing or no Teflon in your food. Okay. I have an assortment of cookbooks up here. This is my favorite one. Virginia will like this one.
What does it say?
Oh, this guy is a tour guide. And he's single, by the way. His address is in here. And but he has written this cookbook, and he does a lot with the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts and stuff like that. And him and his son take tours of the country, the mountains, wherever you want to go. You know. So enough of that. If you want to look at them, fine, but please don't take them. There's lots of them out there, lots of recipes. These are the old ones. They have legs. That blue one is a brand new one. You can use it in the fire, you can use it in the oven, you can use it whenever. And it is heavy, like these are, because they are enamel inside, so they won't stick.
Do you have to season that like you do the other ones?
No, you don't have to season these. But if you see any of these, like in Goodwill, flea market, stuff like that, this one was almost $60. So if they had $5 on it, I'd get it if I were you. All right. Skillets. Okay. How many have cast iron skillets? Use them? Mine sit on my stove. That's all I use, is cast iron. They're seasoned, and they are a Dutch oven. This lid right here on top of this one will fit this skillet. So I believe in Lodge. I have many Lodges, but I also have some others. There are several companies out there that make cast iron, but I like Lodge. They're proven to be. The only way you can really harm these is when they're hot, put cold water in them. They will crack. Okay, what else? What do you use them for? Okay, they're a skillet. They can be a skillet. You turn them upside down, and now you have a skillet. Okay. Roaster. You can put it in the oven, soup kettle, and a deep fryer. Deep fat fryer, all at once. You can either put them on a bed of hot coals with coals on the top, because they have a rim. And this is what the coals are for. Okay, this becomes your oven when you have a heat underneath and the heat coming down. That's why you can make bread in here, you can make biscuits in here, you can cook anything in these. You know, the more you know about them, the better, you know, you will like them. I got a brand new pair of gloves because these little things are heavy and they're hot and you don't want to get burnt. So I went ahead and invested in some gloves. So when I cook, I use them when I have to lift them and stuff like that. They were, if you look through my books, the history of Dutch ovens go back to the 13th and 14th century in some of them. And some of the newer ones go back to the pioneer days. Pioneers, this was one thing they had to have when they came across in the covered wagons. And you don't see that here a lot, but in Wyoming and Nebraska you do, because they have the Oregon Trail there. And they have covered wagons, and you can actually go on a covered wagon trip and use these and cook out, you know. Shh, be quiet. I'm talking. So we talked about seasoning, we talked about cleaning it, okay?
Would you go over that just a little bit more? Explain the cleaning. Like
The seasoning,
no, the cleaning.
the cleaning of them, okay.
Once you've done with your meal.
When you season them, when they're brand new, or like these need seasoned because they've been sitting for so long, you take and you scrub them really, really, really good. Because the grease gets down in the pores and it becomes rancid after a while, and that gets into your food, and then you throw a bunch away like I did today.
So you would scrub them with like steel wool or just a cloth, or what do you?
Yeah, steel wool would do it, or, it's gonna take a while for me to get it out of there. Like I said, soap is your enemy with these, because it takes the soap out of, or the grease out of the pores, right? And the trick is to bake them. Bake them a long time. That gets them in, and then it also bakes the grease.
At what, 325, 350, 225? What do you bake, what temperature do you bake them
When you bake them,
at? Yes, like at 350?
it depends on what you're cooking.
Well, she means
What
in
do you for
season.
cleaning?
Oh, when you're cleaning them,
Like season it?
between 400 and 500 degrees,
Ooh, okay.
or at least an hour and a half. Hour, is that right? He's a master over there. I don't know why I'm doing that. Except somebody volunteered me.
So you never use any
Pardon?
Joy or Dawn or nothing to clean your pans? Even if you clean them with that and then you rinse them out and then, you got them all soap out, and then you seasoned them up again, and, because you're saying the seasoning gets sucked out if you do that. If you put it back in,
What does soap do to grease?
I have lettuce, because,
Washes it out.
well,
Yeah.
right, but then when you rinse it off real good and then you put the grease back and bake it, you can do that?
Yeah,
Yeah, you just re-season it.
yeah, you can reseason.
Okay.
You can reseason them anytime you want.
Because I remember my mom growing
Pardon?
up,
After every time that you use it, you have to receive some.
If it starts sticking, reseason it, because that's what makes it sticker. What else do you want to know?
Well, when you
Questions?
season it, and you're talking about seasoning it with Crisco, but when you say season, you don't use spices in it?
No.
You don't
No,
use any
no.
spices?
No.
You just season it with Crisco. That's the seasoning.
And when you season them, you do the whole thing. The inside, the outside, the lid, inside and out. Yes, and then you bake them, yes, with Crisco. But they have to be clean, and then you season them. And that burns the Crisco into the pores. These have pores in them,
Gotcha.
so they breathe.
Okay.
So I'm not quite clear how you're going to get the rancid stuff out of there.
Wash and wash and wash.
With what?
Huh?
Hot water.
You're not gonna use soap,
No,
so what are you gonna wash it with?
water,
Okay,
soda, salt,
salt?
salt.
Salt, and then
Salt.
you put it in the oven and bake it for 500 degrees for an hour and a half to finish it off, right? And then you season it.
After you clean it, then you season it.
Right.
And then put it in the oven and bake it. These will last for centuries and have.
I went to the store and bought one, what do I do with it before I can cook that?
What do you do with it?
Do I have to?
Okay, first of all, when you get a brand new one, it's going to have a plastic coating on it to keep it from rusting. These will rust. Okay. Those are iron.
Some of your new ones actually come pre-seasoned.
Pardon?
Some of the new ones actually come pre-seasoned, so you
The
don't have
ones
to do
like
anything
this?
with it. Even some of the black
Yeah.
from Lodge.
You don't have to season these like this. You don't, because they're porcelain. It's baked on. I mean, there's cast iron underneath the porcelain.
So when, like, you're going to make dinner rolls or bread in it, is it comparable to what you would be doing in the oven time-wise of the baking time? Is it shorter because you have the hot coals?
Okay, these recipe books have all the recipes and all the things you would probably need. I baked a lot of bread, a lot of cornbread, a lot of cakes, pies. you know, in these. And I don't have any leftovers. You know, I have 5 kids. Oh, I mentioned Dutch oven and they're there. What can we do to help, Mom?
Don't say, oh.
On the campfire.
Pardon?
He made an upside down cake in his Dutch oven on the campfire. Yeah, I know. This don't sound like you wouldn't upside down cake.
That's a good question. I would probably put it in a glass bowl and put it in here. Then you can take it out and turn it upside down. You know, a Pyrex bowl.
Uh-huh. No, you make it right in the iron oven, you know, iron skillet. That's oven. You put coals on top and put it right in the fire,
Right.
put the coals on top.
Right. It tells you in these books how many coals to put on the top and bottom for each thing. You know, for bread you're going to put probably 6 or 7 on the top and 6 or 7 on the bottom. The main thing is that you don't want to do is do this.
Yeah.
You don't want to peek. You time it, you know, and it's supposed to be done at that time, and that's how it is. Yes.
Don't you rotate though? So far each time? Every so many minutes you rotate the pot and you rotate the lid a little bit?
I'm sorry.
Don't you rotate the pot and the lid with the coals under and top to keep it even heat inside?
You could. You could. Anybody else? More questions?
My mom always faced fried chicken in her big iron skillet.
And I have a deep one, a big skillet of fried chicken. There is nothing better than fried chicken in a cast iron skillet. Except maybe the gravy.
Chicken gravy is the best.
When you're done cooking, deep frying, what do you do with your oil?
Pardon?
When you're deep frying, what do you do with all the oil that's in your pan?
What do you do
Save
with
it, you dump it, and if you dump it, where do you dump it?
Where do I dump it?
Yeah,
Garbage can looks good.
you just wait until it,
Huh?
you just wait until it solidifies and then just get rid of it.
Yeah. And when I clean them up, I'll put a little water in them, and then I take a paper towel and scrub them out.
Mm,
And if I have to, I'll use a little scrub brush.
okay.
But you want to keep them clean, which I didn't because I've been moving for the last 7 years. I'd hate to tell you how many miles I put on my car. Oh,
So what is preferable for your hot coals?
pardon?
What is preferable to use for your hot coals?
For pot holders?
Wood, no, hot
Well, if you don't want to do gloves, I would get the big mitts, you know, if you're using them.
I was talking about hot coals.
Oh, the hot coals?
Yeah.
Oh,
So what do you use? You just stack wood and burn it, or how do you do that? Do you use
that's a really
charcoal
good question.
briquettes or what?
This is a charcoal starter, okay? You
Okay.
put paper on the bottom, you put your charcoals in there, you put your lighter fluid, okay, and then you start it on fire. And when you get the white, then you can put this table I have cooked on,
Okay.
you know, and these weigh 30 pounds at least. And it'll hold. I stacked them 3 high. I'll put coals underneath, coals here, coals on top of that one, coal.
You set it on top of that thing? You set the cast iron skillet on top of your charcoal?
Yeah, you can.
Not on the burner, that just.
This is a charcoal burner. This is, all it does is start your charcoal.
I see, then you dump charcoal.
Then you dump it. And I just dump it on the table.
Yeah. And let it get hot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it
And
gets
then
hot.
you're just putting the pots on top, and you have to put charcoal between the pots as you stack them.
If you have,
Exactly.
yeah, I would put a main dish on the bottom, a meat dish, you know, and then a middle dish, whatever you want. And the top, I would put like gravy, you know, little, they make them littler than this too.
Will the heat will transfer up?
Yeah, you can transfer them.
You don't,
Huh?
where do you set this pot in for the?
Say what?
Where do you put the iron pot?
This one?
The bottom one, what's it on? What kind of bed of coals is it going to be on? Charcoal.
The charcoal?
That big pot is going to sit on that charcoal?
No, no.
Just the charcoal.
No, no. The charcoal's gonna start in there on fire. When it gets white, you take and transfer it. Dump it out. You can dump it out on the ground, or you can dump it out on the sidewalk, patio, wherever you wanna cook it. Set your pot in the middle of it.
You cook on that table too, you said.
Yeah.
You can put charcoal on that table
Yeah,
and then put the pot on top of the charcoal on
Yeah.
that table.
yeah.
You take the charcoal out of that thing.
Yes.
You just have a layer of charcoal, you just set it on it. What's going to keep it hot for
That's what these are for. Don't pick them up with your fingers, please.
So I use that to take the charcoal out of the pot.
And you.
You're going to put the charcoal in, you're going to light the charcoal in that container.
Uh-huh.
Then you're going to take it out of that container with those tongs and put it on that table, is that right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
One layer.
Uh-huh.
Now your pot is cold, so you just mix up your stuff, right?
Yeah, just
Your
put
pot
it on
is
it.
cold. So you're gonna set that cold pot on the one layer of charcoal. And then you're gonna put charcoal on the lid after you put the cooking
Yeah.
in it. And then you're gonna put another pan up there
Yeah,
on the
there
lid.
you got it.
Okay, so what about this? Then turn the lid over, how you gonna stack that with that handle?
Do what now?
You can turn it upside down.
Upside down.
Well, you got to put it over there.
There, take this. Put charcoal under here. Put charcoal under here. And charcoal up here.
And that's gonna cook.
And don't peek.
Oh, but okay, hours have to live.
Because you let the heat out.
How long? About how long?
Huh?
About how long is it gonna take for it to cook?
It depends on your recipe.
Well, I mean, approximately, let's say you put a main dish in the bottom, and then you had a vegetable in the middle one. How long is that's gonna tell you? in your-
The meat is gonna take longer, so you're gonna use more charcoal. Okay? The vegetable, it depends on what it is, you know, they don't take very long. Carrots maybe, or potatoes.
You cook sweet corn in it?
Hmm?
Cook sweet corn on the cob in it?
You can. You can cook anything in this, anything.
I'll do all the pots, all of them legs.
Pardon?
All the pots have legs.
No, no. That was it, no. But these do. Yes, they have legs. And if you don't want to pick up the lids by yourself, this is a handy little tool.
A little guy in there.
But if you don't want to do this, a claw hammer works just as well.
Yeah, but there is something you don't want to cook in there. There is something you do not want to cook in there.
Pardon?
There is stuff you don't want to cook in there, like potatoes and stuff.
Tomatoes?
Yeah, it'll taste just like you know there's pork in it.
I make good chicken dumplings. No tomatoes in those.
I'm saying, but tomatoes will take the, and it'll just take the, it'll clean the pan so really well.
I have cooked chili in these.
I have two and it tasted like a pork with mush in it.
Yeah, well, you might have to season it afterwards, but these will last you a lifetime. Where the ones at J.C. Penney's, the Teflon coated ones, you'll get maybe a couple of years, 3 years out of them.
I have a question. Do I understand then you should not cook acidic foods?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Acidic.
You said you should you not cook acidic foods in those?
I do.
You just have to season it more often.
You just have to season it more. I would cook anything in here.
I have another question.
Okay.
What else can you use besides Crisco to season them?
Vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil. Yeah, I was gonna say that. I prefer Crisco, but,
How about lard?
huh?
What about lard?
No,
No, is it lard?
no. Lard becomes rancid.
Okay.
No lard. I don't think I would cook a lot of bacon in here either. Yeah, lard.
Question for you. If you were to use the big one and make some bread, how many briquettes would you put on the lid?
If I was using this to make rolls or bread, I'd probably put 6 or 7 on the top, and maybe 5, 6 on the bottom.
And what would be the time to cook for those?
Yeah. Oh, I'd give them at least 25, 30 minutes.
Okay. And they'd be nice and golden brown because you've got the briquettes on the top.
Right.
Like you would in the oven.
Right, they're gonna brown just like they would in the oven.
Starla, what did they use before you had Crisco?
What did I use
No,
before?
not you, but what did the pioneers use before you had Crisco?
Lard.
Probably beef fat.
Yeah, beef fat.
Yeah, you know. You know how,
When you're baking bread, do you take the dough and put a lot of flour on it before you put it in there?
put a little Crisco on it. Butter burns in these. You know, I said I wasn't going to talk about BOW, but I have to ask everybody this. And some of you know, who had the first disposable diapers?
My mom.
Nobody?
I didn't have the first. Yeah, I did.
The Indians. You know what they used? Cocktails.
I had to.
Yeah.
Disposable diapers for.
And that's what they used. Learned it to be a W can. Just a trivial thing.
The dirty ones just sloshed out and it was better. Yeah.
It's porcelain all over it. Inside too, yes.
Get all over the baby stuff.
Huh?
How can it absorb the
Just like everything else.
You don't have to season those. You don't have to season porcelain. You have to season these.
Yeah. You can't use some, probably not olive oil because it turns rancid, right? Just vegetable oil. You don't want to use any other.
If you use a good vegetable oil, yeah, that would work. But I like Crisco because I can see it's everywhere.
Right.
Just my preference. Yes, sir.
Blackstone makes a good seasoning for them, and they use it in
Blackstone?
their grill. Blackstone. The Blackstone grill
I
is
did
basically the
not
same
know
thing,
that.
but it comes in a little thing that's really good for seasoning your pans too.
And where do you buy these wonderful little things?
But the seasoning, that.
No, the pots. the equipment.
We've got a lot at secondhand stores and stuff. And we clean them
Cabela's.
up and re-season them.
Cracker Barrel sells them. Hardware stores, online.
We're okay.
You could get them at Dover's and Church
Yeah,
Sure, for camping and stuff.
they're out there, they're just, because they're heavy, and older people don't wanna mess with them, you know? So they use, I would not buy another Teflon pan if you paid for it. But I would use aluminum or steel, or, you know, stainless steel pans.
Right.
But I have these, and you can make quite an investment in these.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're not cheap. Any more questions? Maybe you'll have some after you taste some. I made some cowboy beans, and if you've ever had cowboy beans,
A couple of beans
A
are
lot
a
of
joke in
beans.
our family. They're
and I made a peach pie in a skillet. So if there's no questions, enjoy it. Think about the OW camp.
Are all of your pots that you use lodged then? Do you have any of the others?
Of what?
All of the pots that you use, are they all lodged?
No, no. This is a Texas sport.
Okay.
Okay. Probably picked it up at a garage sale or someplace. If I buy one, it'll be lodged. But this isn't all I have. I have a skillet that's that big, I didn't bring it. My kids used to say, "Get out the skillet, Mom, everybody's here for breakfast."
Went to this camp and learned about the cast iron cooking. Did you cook at home?
I went out and bought them.
We went out and bought them.
Ted eats a fry for 2
Yeah.
minutes, and I
Yeah.
make a.
At least once or twice a week, yeah, I would dig them out and we'd have something in them.
What, charcoal?
Well, I want to talk to you about charcoal. How many people use the briquettes for charcoal? Do you use them? Do you know what's in those? What holds them together? Glue. Where does the glue go? In your food. They do make charcoal that's just wood. And I know that Martin's has it in the bag. And if you want a true flavor from your charcoal, buy the wood briquettes, not the crappy things, as I call them. The more you know about it, you know, the healthier you can be. But we ingest a lot of poisons, not even knowing it. Toothpaste. Bad. Toothpaste. Yeah, and look how they advertise that. You know, you could open up your medicine chest and put everything in the garbage because nothing's good for you in there.
What do you use for toothpaste?
You mentioned toothpaste.
Yeah.
Did toothpaste used to come in a lead tube?
Well, what now?
A tube made of lead. Toothpaste used to come in.
Will it terminate a tooth made of lead?
Toothpaste.
The
Toothpaste tube.
The tube itself,
For the toothpaste.
I don't know.
During the war, we had to return the old empty toothpaste tube.
Oh, you did? Because they had lead in them?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
You actually, you don't always cook with the briquettes. You can cook on the stove too, right? And in the oven?
I use the stove and I use the oven, and when I get these out, I'm usually cooking for anywhere 12 to 20 people because they make a lot and they taste good. We used to go camping and we had a Dutch oven all the time. We went with about 30 people, about 10, 12 families went, and we all got together. The men cooked the meat, the women made the extras. And a lot of them used these.
Tin and lead.
Any questions?
Well, I'm gonna ask a question of everybody. Who here has induction stoves? Most everybody does anymore, or no? Cast iron is perfect for the new induction stoves too, so you've got those. It's just in for it.
Yeah.
Not the ones with the legs.
I know Amanda
Induction?
with the new house.
Well, you know what a hot plate is. The plate actually gets hot and the heat transfers into the skillet. Well, induction does it magnetically. It's inciting the atoms in the cast iron, which actually the cast iron heats up and not the stove surface. So that's kind of the new thing that stoves have been going to.
That's gotta be flat.
But you need a special, yeah.
It's gotta be flat.
No, you don't. Actually, no.
No, I'm up.
As long as it's cast iron, it's got iron in it,
Oh.
it doesn't have to be perfectly flat.
Oh, but not with legs on it.
Not with the legs on it. You need a flat bottom cast iron.
Like the skillets.
So new technologies allowing us to use old product.
If I had it all over to do again and I was 20 years old, I would buy these. I can't think of how many pans I have went through in the last 60, 70 years. I would still have these today. And I could spend money on something else. I have a collection of cookie jars.
Does anybody have any more questions for Starla? If not, let's give her a nice round of applause. This was very interesting. And we've got cookies and lemonade over here, compliments of Owen and Barbara Wright. And we've got
He's got here.